Hi, this is Cheryl Peterson with the Community of Christ Scientist. This is a Christian Science sermon. I'm going to read from the English Standard Version of the Bible, copyrighted by Crossway Bibles, and from 21st Century Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, a modern version of Mary Baker Eddy's Science and Health, copyrighted by Cheryl Peterson. The subject is Medicine of Joy. Golden text is from Proverbs. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Matthew. Jesus said about the kingdom of heaven, "For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, 'Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours.' But his master answered him, 'You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was mine own with interest. So take the talent from him, and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.' John. Jesus said, 'If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full.' 21st Century Science and Health. It is a question whether the ancient inspired healers understood the science of spiritual healing, or whether they caught its sweet tones as the natural musician catches the tones of harmony, without being able to explain them. Past healers were so divinely animated with the spirit of science that the lack of the letter could not impede their work. The letter, without the spirit, voids the healing practice. The neglected or unused talent rots or is lost. When the sick or the sinning realize their need of what they don't have, they will be a receptor to divine science. The human mind then thinks on things better than disease or negativity. The true idea of God gives the true understanding of life and love, robs the grave of victory, takes away all sin and the delusion that there are other minds, and destroys mortality. The effects of spiritual science are not so much seen as felt. It is the gentle whisper of truth expressing itself. We are either neglecting this expression, or we are attentive to it and being improved by it. Willingness to become as little children and to leave the old for the new prepares thought to receive the advanced idea. To cheerfully leave behind the false imprints and contentedly let them disappear is the attitude that helps to precipitate the ultimate harmony. Great respect is due to the motives and philanthropy of the higher class of physicians. As they understand the science of mind healing and its power to benefit all people physically and spiritually, they will rejoice with us. Quote, "We physicians do not fully understand the relationship between mind, body, and that intangible element known as spirit. Medical educators have often taught that religion is an irrelevant or even detrimental factor in physical and emotional well-being. But a growing body of research has established that religious people, both young and old, often enjoy the psychological and physical benefits of a positive emotional outlook." Unquote. Harold G. Koenig, MD, director of Duke University's Center for the Study of Religion, Spirituality, and Health. Quote, "We look for medicine to be an orderly field of knowledge and procedure, but it is not. It is an imperfect science, an enterprise of constantly changing knowledge, uncertain information, fallible individuals, and at the same time lives on the line. There is a science in what we do, yes, but also habit, intuition, and sometimes plain old guessing. The gap between what we know and what we aim for persists, and this gap complicates everything we do." Unquote. Atul Gawande, American surgeon, writer, and public health researcher. Doctrines that earmark our harmony as governed by physical conditions all our earthly days are fading. Matter is not superior to the law of mind. The god of temporal medicine is flooding the world with diseases. It treats the sick person as if the body is the only factor in the case. But the spiritual thinker becomes aware that the human mind and body are myths. They realize that infinite mind could not possibly create a remedy outside of itself, let alone a remedy that is unsustainable. The human mind has an absolute need of something beyond itself for redemption and healing. But we are spiritual. To reach heaven, the harmony of being, the divine principle of being, needs to be understood, and the talents given to us by God must be improved. Calling on mind to forgive our unfinished or negligent work is useless. To repeatedly ask for forgiveness, yet repeat lousy behavior, is unreasonable. The sick knows nothing of the mental process by which they are weakened, and next to nothing of the metaphysical method by which they can be healed. If they ask about their disease, tell them only what is best for them to know. Assure them that they think too much about their ailments and have already heard too much on that subject. Turn their thoughts away from their bodies to better ideas. Teach them that their being is sustained by spirit, not by matter, and that they find health, peace, and harmony in God, divine love. Give sick people credit for sometimes knowing more than their doctors. Always support the patient's trust in the power of mind to support the body. Never tell the sick that they have more courage than strength. Tell them rather that their strength is in proportion to their courage. If you make the sick realize this important principle, there will be no reaction from overexertion or from excited conditions. Maintain the facts of divine science, that spirit is God and therefore cannot be sick, that what is termed matter cannot be sick, that all cause is mind, acting through spiritual law. Then take your mental stand with the unshaken understanding of truth and love, and you will win.